Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, New Relic Infrastructure AWS Integrations. Today we have presenting Aaron Newcomb and Alberto Gomez. But first, let me go over a few housekeeping items. First, today's webinar will be recorded, and we'll send out a recording tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And be sure to ask any questions in the GoToWebinar questions panel. And afterwards, if you have any feedback for us, please feel free to use the survey as a platform to let us know how we did. With that, I'll hand it over to Alberto and he'll begin our presentation.
Great. Actually, this is Aaron. I'll start. My name is Aaron Newcomb and I'm the Senior Product Manager for the New Relic Infrastructure product. I've been in the IT industry for about 20 years, so I've been doing this for some time, but I'm really excited to be working on this particular product. It's a really exciting time, I think, for people, especially if they're moving into cloud and trying to monitor dynamic systems as they go up and down. So super excited to be here. And before I go any further, I'll turn it over to Alberto to introduce himself as well.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So yeah, this is Alberto Gomez. I'm Director of Product Management here at New Relic. I have a bit less experience than Aaron in the software as a service industry, but I've been building products, SaaS products, for more than 10 years now, and super excited about New Relic infrastructure, which is where I'm putting all my efforts right now, and more precisely into cloud integration. So the integrations that help us bring data from the different cloud providers into New Relic. So back to you, Aaron.
Great. Yeah, so welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. This is the agenda of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to first just do a quick overview of New Relic infrastructure in case there's anybody that's new to it on the call this morning. Then we're going to talk about the new features. We're going to talk about the AWS integrations, as we mentioned before. Just give you kind of a brief overview of what they are and what they do. And then we're going to go right into a demonstration. We like to do this every time we do a webinar, if possible, is to do a live demonstration. Certainly, we're not afraid to do that. It's what our product is built for, so we'll be doing that. And while we're doing that, I really encourage you, as Jackson said earlier, to go ahead and ask some questions. Don't be shy. If something comes up and you're not sure what we're talking about or what it's used for, please ask a question, because we will be getting to those at the end of the call. And after the demonstrations, I'll be talking about where you can get more information, where you can find out how to use these new integrations. And then, as I said, we will have some time for Q&A at the end. So what is New Relic infrastructure? Well, the first thing you need to know about New Relic infrastructure is, although it is a standalone product, it really fits into our overall product portfolio as one piece of the digital intelligence platform that we offer here at New Relic. So infrastructure is a way to monitor your hosts, whether they live on premise or in the cloud, whether you're running containers, any of those things. Infrastructure is the way to monitor what's going on those hosts. But alongside that, we also offer our application performance monitoring tools, as well as ways to monitor your mobile applications or what's going on with your web applications with our browser product. So it's really, in order to get a complete picture of what's going on in your environment, you really need all of those things working together, because then you can use really powerful tools like we offer with our Insights product to see exactly what's going on and get to the data that's most important for you and your business, and even more important to your customers, so that they have a good experience when they're using your applications, whether it's online or on a mobile device or what have you. But New Relic infrastructure specifically allows you to do a couple of things. So number one, it allows you to monitor your hosts that may be spinning up and down, for example, in Amazon AWS. For more specifically to this webinar this morning, we're going to talk about some of those integrations. But we have customers that have hosts that spin up thousands of hosts per day, spin up or down, and they need to be able to monitor those hosts the same way every time, with very little effort. So they don't want to have to go in every hour and reconfigure things on all of those hosts. So we allow them to do that monitoring in a very simple way, but a very powerful way. And we also allow them to do that, as I said, across hosts that run in the cloud or on premise using containers. It really doesn't matter. We want to give people a consistent view of that data, no matter where the hosts are actually residing. And then we also want to be able to give people a way to track what's going on in their environment, whether it's things that are changing, such as a user logs in or makes a change in the system. We want to be able to provide the visibility that you need to see that, or things like things that are going on at the software package level. So inventory on those particular hosts. Maybe there's some sort of a security vulnerability that's happening with a particular software package that's installed. We want to make sure that you have the visibility to get to that information right away, because that's going to mean that you can resolve problems more quickly, eliminate downtime for your end users, and keep things running for your business. So that's all I'm going to really talk about as far as infrastructure is concerned for the general product. We do want to get into these demos and show you the new features right away. But I would suggest, if you're interested in learning more, if you're new to New Relic infrastructure, or if you just haven't seen it yet, go out to newrelic.com/infrastructure and take a look at the Infrastructure 101 webcast that was done a while ago. And it really goes into the basics of the product, shows you exactly how to do some of the things I was just mentioning in terms of tracking those software packages or changes that happen on those hosts, or monitoring CPU and memory and storage and those types of things. So if you're new to New Relic infrastructure, I highly recommend going out and watching that webinar, or taking some of the training that's available online as you get started with the new product. But with that, let's go ahead and talk about what's new, which is the AWS integrations that we've developed for New Relic infrastructure. And there's actually 5 of them that we just released a few months ago. We talked about these at FutureStack London, our big event in London that we had recently. And they are billing and cost control, which allows you to see some of the well, actually, let me let Alberto jump in here. He can give a better explanation for what these things are. So, Alberto, let's start with billing and cost control. What actually does that do?
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah. First of all, let me just step back for a second and just let customers and people who is evaluating the infrastructure product know that these are 5 new integrations that we are adding to a complete package of integrations that we already have with AWS. So we have our DS integrations, Lambda integrations with CloudFront, with PPC, and so on and so forth. So we already have more than 20 integrations, and these 5 are adding to those. So on that, so the billing and cost control integration, it's really trying to solve a pain that we've been seeing across the board from many customers that are saying us, hey, New Relic, one of my main concerns with the cloud is that it helps me go much faster, and it helps me accelerate, and the time to market is very, very fast. But the problem is that the cost can go out of control really fast as well. So I need some means to be able to control, my velocity in one sense, but also to control that velocity is not costing me too much. So I can balance benefit versus cost real fast. So that billing and cost control, we're going to see a demo of it later on, but it's really trying to provide customers with the right tools and the right visibility on where the money is flowing in AWS. Regarding Kinesis Firehose, Firehose is a service from AWS that allows you to stream data from the wild into the different AWS services like Elasticsearch, like S3, and like Redshift. So you're just putting data in, so it allows you to monitor how much data is flowing in to Amazon, and it allows you to control how much data is flowing out into the different AWS services that you have configured. Then we put together an integration with Elasticsearch. We're going to demonstrate this one as well. So Elasticsearch is a search engine that's working across the board, and AWS, it's very popular. And AWS offers a managed version of that service. And we've just put together an integration here that allows you to monitor your Elasticsearch clusters, how data is flowing into Laghash or Kibana or whatever tools you have integrated with Elasticsearch, which is as I said, like a very very common use case or a service that it's used in many use cases like ELK or EKK or many use cases that we see across the board in the entire digital experience. Then we put together as well integration with Route 53, which is a DNS service, a managed DNS service from AWS. And really that integration helps you monitor how your different DNS configurations are working and the health checks that you can configure against those DNS services. As well as some key metrics as the SSL handshake time, or as well as the time to the first byte. Then we've also put together an integration for the ECS and ECR. That's the container service and the container registry service from AWS. We know that running containers is hard, and that's why most of the containers today run in managed services in the cloud today. And that integration is really helping you just assessing how your clusters are, your containers clusters are working, how the different services are working, both in terms of reserved memory and actual memory spender, as well as a reserved CPU and actually used CPU. So you can just check how the clusters are going, know if you need to spin new instances into your cluster to make it bigger and more capable, as well as just monitoring the schedule tasks that you have, or the different services or microservices that you have running on containers in the cloud. So it's really just helping our customers to gain visibility and gain observability across the board with all their deployments and monitoring how things are going.
Cool. I know we're going to jump into the demo in just a second, but I did want to say I apologize that we don't have time to demo everything. As you mentioned, we're going to demo the billing and cost control. I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to talk about what the Elasticsearch integration looks like, as well as the ECS and ECR. But before we do that, I hate to put you on the spot, but could you also show people how easy it is to turn on the integrations and what that looks like? Because we mentioned this is just a subset of all of the integrations that we offer. These are just the new ones. And it might be useful for people to see where they actually go to turn those integrations on.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's really easy actually. So let me just step to the demo phase here. Let me just drive you through the experience of setting up integrations, which is really easy in New Relic, and it's really a one-click thing. So that's kind of the infrastructure landing page, right? So you land here when you're just trialing an infrastructure product, or you're a customer of infrastructure, and by just clicking on integrations, you'll be able to enroll an account. So just by clicking in this little button here, you can enroll an Amazon account. So it's like 5 easy steps to enroll an account. And after enrolling an account, as I have many enrolled accounts here, you can just come and manage the services. So you can just click in Manage Service and see all the integrations that we have ready for you. So you can just point and click which integrations you want to start monitoring, right? So you can say, I don't know, I want to monitor ALBs, I want to monitor Elastic Cache, I want to monitor like Kinesis streams or RDS managed databases, or whatever you want to monitor. You just can point and click any of the services just click accept, and you will going to start monitoring those services. So what we do by default is that we create a default dashboard for each and every service that we are monitoring. We create a shortcut to create alerts based on that monitored service. So you can create an alert based on the data that you gather from AWS for all the services. So for billing and cost control service, for ALB, EBS, ECS, Elasticache, whatever service, you can just point and click and create an alert against any of the data that we are bringing in. And then we have the Data Explorer, which is basically showing you the nature of the data that we are bringing in from AWS for the different services. So that will show the different regions where your service is running, the different reserves groups, the different tags that you have assigned to the different services, and so on and so forth. So it will show just basically all the data that we're bringing in. Having said that, let me just showcase real quick, like the ECS integration as an example. One of the recent integrations that we just put together in that last batch. So another thing is that when you just click on any of the dashboards here, infrastructure integrations rely on insights for showing up dashboards. That means that you have some free entitlements to use insights, and that means that you can build dashboards that allow you to monitor across the board, like the different pieces or key pieces that you want to monitor across your entire infrastructure. So if you have, I don't know, like the DNS resolution, and then you're moving into an application load balancer, and then you have different instances, EC2 instances, and a database, you can just build one dashboard that can monitor how things are going across the board for all these 5 services. So, and that's just leveraging the power of insights. It allows us to just be able to monitor not only one service, but be able to create new dashboards that helps you, mixing data and just getting a better idea of how your entire infrastructure is working. So with regards to ECS specifically, as I mentioned before, you can check, how you're doing in terms of utilization against reservations for both CPU and memory for different clusters that you're running, as well as just, getting an idea of the CPU utilization and memory utilization for the different services that you're running. So also, AWS has that concept of scheduled tasks, so you can just deploy on a scheduled task, or change a specific version of a specific container or the image of a container based on a scheduled task, and you can just monitor how things are going there as well. Together with that integration, we always put together an event track line, so an event timeline, sorry. So we see if in the last X hours there has been any change in my ECS environment in terms of either there has been a new image being uploaded to the registry, or there has been like any change on the service at all. So it will appear here in the timeline, as well as keeping track of the inventory. And inventory is really helpful at the time of understanding what kind of variants I have for a given configuration in a given AWS service. So here I have I'm leveraging like only one region, but if I was leveraging more regions, I will have like different regions here, as well as having the different configurations that I have for each specific registry here, for each specific container registry that I have here. So I also have if the containers were active or not, and I can also see the configuration of the different clusters that I have and which ones are active or not. So that's really kind of in a nutshell the basics of the ECS integration. And let me just move now to maybe a more sexy integration that we have, which is billing. And billing really can help you do a ton of stuff. So we are bringing different financial data from AWS. So one of the things that you need to ensure is that you're giving us with the right you're providing us with the right permissions, so we can access to your budgetary data. But we basically bring in data of two natures. First is the AWS budgets data, which allows you to create in AWS budgets associated to a given or tied to a given service or tax or any other concept that you have in your metadata in AWS. So it really helps you creating a concept of a budgetary concept that you want to monitor, and you can create that budget either based on usage or cost. Right? So what we will do then is just read those batches automatically, bring the data into the New Relic account, and you'll be able to see the actual spender that this badger is originating, as well as reading the different budget limits that you can assign. And one interesting stuff is that AWS by default just forecasts that budget. So it creates a forecast of the spend that you're going to get with that budget in the billing period, and you can select the different billing periods, which are semester, quadrimester, or month, right? So you can see like I have monthly budgets here, so I see that in this particular budget, I'm just almost doubling. The forecast says that I'm gonna almost double the amount of that I've just budgeted as a limit. But in that case, I'm going 10 times higher than what I actually budgeted in the beginning. So it just helps me in the early stage to just keep an eye on, hey, this service can get out of control, and you should be correcting the trend in order to control the cost for this specific project or application or whatever. Cool. This is one nature of data that we're bringing in. The second nature of data that we're bringing in is purely cost data, and we can break it down either on sub accounts and accounts or services. So one of the cool things that we're doing in that integration is that given one master account, we can go and read all these sub accounts as far as we got the rights to do it, of course, and the permissions to do it. We can go and read all the financial data for the different sub accounts and bring in all the financial data for the different sub accounts and list them just like I'm doing here. So if I just click on any of the sub accounts, leveraging the magic of insights, I can just build dashboards to show me the breakdown of cost that each sub account has, right? So if I just click on that account, I'm just gonna be able to see the different breakdown on EC2 cost, S3, RDS, data transfer, elastic cache, blah, 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 blah. So just by pointing and clicking, I can just break down the cost and also graph those costs as well. So we see that there's at the end of a billing period here. So it just goes down to 0 again, and the billing period starts over again in July. So I can just see exactly, the money that I'm spending and where I'm spending the money on the different accounts that I have, right? So and for the different services, which is always useful, right? So there's now a trend as well that we're seeing of making some developers accountable of the costs originated by the different applications. So that's a great tool, to make everyone accountable on the different costs that we are generating while building applications. All right, gonna get back to the original billing dashboard, just to showcase a couple of things more, and in terms of the billing integration, which is really in the detail, but it's worth mentioning. Of course, since I'm having all the financial data, I can just break down on the top accounts of spending on the different services. So I can see, which are the top accounts spending EC2 or RDS or whatever service that it's cost sensible and I want to monitor, as well as being able to leveraging budgets, being able to just break down costs for a specific functional area, region, tag, or in this case, I'm just breaking down costs for the shopping cart process, right? That together with, of course, the EC2 credit balance and EC2 credit usage that we're receiving from AWS, it helps you getting a complete idea across the board of how your financials are doing with AWS. And as Lee, our evangelist or developer evangelist says, cost is just another performance metric, and we just want to help our customers to keep track of it. Cool. With that, let me just show you the AWS Elasticsearch integration that we put together as well. This is really an integration that helps you monitor the different clusters and how the different clusters are going. So if they are green or they are yellow or they are going red because they are replicating or whatever, you can list the different number of nodes that you have. You can have, of course, the average CPU utilization for all the instances that are forming the cluster, and you can get an entire idea of how the read operations are working, how the write operations are working, how many documents you have, how many searchable documents you have, how's the disk queue going, and so on and so forth. So you can really get down into the detail of, all right, how's my Elasticsearch service performing at the moment? Do I need to spin up new clusters because for whatever reason, AWS is putting all my clusters in red, or there's a misconfiguration or something. So yeah, you can just go down into the detail of the Elasticsearch service. Again, you have the event timeline for Elasticsearch as well. So if you see any configuration change or any issue in the Elasticsearch, it will show into the Elasticsearch timeline, as well as inventory. So you'll have you're going to be able to monitor how the different configurations change across your Elasticsearch clusters. So yeah, that's really a sneak peek of integrations. Again, just to access integrations is really easy. If you're starting a trial or you're a customer of of New Relic, you can just enroll your AWS account coming here to integrations and just enrolling your AWS account and just point and click the different services that you want to monitor. So, and with that, handing over to you, Aaron.
Yeah, I got a quick question before you leave that screen, which is, I think we need to be clear. I know we have different levels of subscriptions, right? We have Essentials and we have Pro. So which level do you need to be on to get these particular integrations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Essentials only give you access to grab EC2 metadata. And that means that with your Essentials account, you're going to be able to know if a specific instance is living in, I don't know, in the West region, the East region, in Frankfurt, whatever, right? In the European region or whatever. But if you want to get access to all the integrations that we have available, and if you want to get access to all these long lists of integrations that we keep updating every month, so you just need to buy the Pro license here. So Pro unlocks the entire product and gives you full access to cloud integrations.
Great. Thanks for covering that. I don't want to mislead anyone about what we're doing here, but I appreciate you going over that, because really it's nice to give people that don't need these things a way to just access the basic features of the product. Absolutely. And those that rely on these types of things obviously can go to the Pro level. So great. So let's get back to the presentation. One quick question I have for you is what's coming up? So we talked about these great integrations. Is there some things you're working on currently
Always.
that we can kind of preview for people?
Always, yeah. We're working. We're actually working on, and we started working on that early late last quarter. But we started working on more clouds actually. So if anyone has interest on knowing about our plans in other clouds and AWS, just reach out to your reps. We'll be happy to host a call to just let you know how we're doing there. But in terms of AWS integrations, we have right now an open beta program. It's a private beta program, so you need to be there by invitation. But right now we have like these three services in beta, which are Redshift, RDS Enhanced Monitoring, and AWS ALBs. So if any of you is interested on any of those services, we have pasted the form to get enrolled into the private beta program in the chat box. So just click in there, and we'll be happy to give you access to the different uh, private beta integrations that we have right now, and also keep you up to date with the different integrations that we are that we are continuously developing and moving into a private beta.
Okay, great. Can't wait. We'll probably be doing another webinar when we release those new integrations as well. So I just want to give people an idea of where they can go to get more information. The first place I would recommend is going to our online technical community at discuss.newrelic.com. The great thing about that is you can actually see what questions other people are asking, or if you have a question, you can see if it's already been answered there. And you'll get some great tips for how to use our products more effectively. So I highly recommend people at least go check that out. On a regular basis, actually. You should definitely be going there to see what other people are talking about. You can check out the docs as well. They'll give you a detailed breakdown on how to use all of those great features that we talked about today and the ones that we didn't have time to get to, as well as all the other features for all our other products. So definitely go there and check out our blog. We post blogs all the time, and we have quite a bit of people talking about how to use the products, what other companies might be doing with them. And of course, when we announce these new products, we usually do a blog post to cover what they are and what they do. So I would definitely recommend subscribing to the blog if you're an RSS fan, or just checking it out on a regular basis so you know what's going on. It's a great place to get more information. If you haven't tried infrastructure yet and you want to give it a try, definitely go to the website, newrelic.com/infrastructure, and click on the free trial button. That will get you a trial for 30 days of New Relic infrastructure at the pro level. So you will get all of these features so you can really dive in and see whether those features are going to be useful for you or not. Nothing is limited there, and it's a great way to check out New Relic infrastructure. I know that's what I did even before I joined New Relic infrastructure. It's what got me, before I joined New Relic, it's what got me interested in working on this product. So I highly recommend doing that. We have some other things to talk about as well. So coming up, not in the not too distant future, I guess, in September, our Future Stack conference is coming up, and it's going to be great. It's going to be in New York City. We do these regionally, but really our big conference this year is in New York City, excuse me, in September 13th and 14th. We still have room available. In fact, I believe you can still get early bird discounts, and if you've come to our Future Stack events before, you can get a discount as well on this particular conference. And we've got some great speakers: Malcolm Gladwell, Ray Wong, of course our very own Lou Cerny is going to be speaking. People always love to hear him. You get so excited about this company that he started, as well as the products that we're developing. So you're definitely going to want to attend if you're available. So I just wanted to highlight that for a second as well. With that, I think we're going to turn it back over to Jackson, who's been monitoring the questions as they've been coming in. Jackson, what kind of questions do we have today?
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, so a few questions have come in, and if you have any more, please feel free to ask them. First, mostly related to billing, can you show cost data by application with regards to the billing integration?
Yeah. I touch on that like very lightly, but Yeah, actually, budgets helps you just create budgets against any concept in AWS. So you could do something like, all right, so I want to monitor like EC2 cost against a specific region, against a specific tag, and just do, and from there, any combination. So you can just build a specific budget to monitor a specific application. And we will then be able to not only bring in the data for the actual spend for that specific application, but also be able to put a limit, a budgetary limit to that application, and get the data for the forecast of this budget. So understanding if you're going to go um, above and beyond that limit, or just gonna, all right, you're on track.
Cool. So we could do things like production versus development, that kind of thing, or could we actually do, oh, this is my payroll application versus my Android mobile application or
Yeah,
something like that.
you could do pretty much whatever you want to do. Actually, it's we have customers just monitoring the cost of the development accounts and the development applications, the staging applications, and then the production applications. And in some cases, just figuring out that developing applications is sometimes more expensive, and maintaining the staging environments is actually sometimes more expensive than maintaining the production ones. So yeah, it really helps you just monitor a, everything across the board, and just putting a cost tag to all of your systems internally and all your applications and services.
Cool. So with regards to, budgeting, for example, is it possible to restrict billing data and the dashboards to specific users?
Um, yeah. So right now, as we are in the moment of just rolling out RBAC, role-based access control, is still not possible. But we're working on the possibility of being able to limit access to a specific user to a specific dashboard. But at the moment, what we are doing is that, since you can bring in data from the different AWS accounts, financial data from the different AWS accounts. But we're seeing is that there's a specific New Relic account which is in pro mode, that is bringing in the data to the eyeballs of those who have access to that specific account that's monitoring costs, right? So if you want to split, who's seeing costs against who's not, that's the way to do it today.
Okay, great. And one last question that we have here is, how often is the cost information updated?
All right. So it depends on the nature of the cost information, but it's generally updated every 4 hours by AWS. So we're going every hour to make sure that if the data has been changing, and we're just ingesting the new data as it comes fresh.
Great. Yeah, I think that's all the questions that we have today. Thank you both.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's webinar. And just as a reminder, please feel free to fill out the survey after the fact, and look for the recording tomorrow in your inbox. Thank you so much.
Thank you.